Hello and welcome to Sega Addicts After Hours. This would be episode 21, I believe, but no, this is going to be a very special episode because we got some friends with us today. We got the team from Elysian Shadows with us.
Hey, yeah. Hey.
Y'all could introduce yourselves here.
Oh, okay. My name's Falco Gurgis. I'm the engine developer and the lead YouTube narcissist of the Elysian Shadows project.
I'm Tyler Rogers. I'm the lead gameplay engineer for ES.
I'm Connor Linning. I do the soundtrack, the sound effects, and a little bit of level design.
He just beats
Rockstar.
Awesome.
Yeah, Dave.
And
Unpaid intern.
Yeah, I forgot to introduce ourselves. I'm Brett Hatfield. I own Sega Addicts, and this is the features editor, Thomas Avantis,
Word.
otherwise known as the mysterious Pocky X. And we're gonna forgo our usual format this week. We're just gonna sit around, talk about Listing Shadows, how their Kickstarter just launched, and just kind of shoot the shit with them for a little bit.
Yeah, we are totally cool with that.
And first off, let's just start by talking about what we've been playing, what we've been doing this week. Falco, if you'd like to go first, have you been playing anything, or I figure you guys haven't had time to play anything.
I've been up 2 days straight and then crashed for 20 hours, then up 2 days, then crashed 20 hours. Basically, I haven't done anything for about 2 weeks, but work on ES and build up hype for the campaign and work on the campaign. Basically, it almost killed us.
It's worth it. That's exactly what we've been doing. You can see my background, some of the whiteboard walls in this room. It was me, Falco, Dan. About 2 or 3 weeks now. Leandra was here for a little bit, one of our artists, and it's been madness. Just
Dude, we
as long
didn't
as we
see the
possibly
sun
can,
for about a month.
and pass out as needed, and wake up and come right back in here and just get back at it. It's been crazy.
We were working in shifts.
I'm probably the only one who's played video games on the team, and the reason for that is because I had to follow sleep after the Kickstarter launched, and so I had to play Harry Potter on Game Boy Color just to calm down a little bit and then fall asleep. And I couldn't handle it. I was just staring at the ceiling. Yeah, there we go.
What you got?
Harry Potter Game Boy Color.
Oh, there we go. Of all things.
So the only reason I play games is just so I don't have a panic attack staring at the ceiling.
Oh, that feeling. See, Tom, have you been playing anything this week?
I played Injustice: Gods Among Us on the Vita since that was $5 on a superhero sale on PSN, and it really highlighted how terrible comic book stories are. Not that they're bad, in that they're bad stories. I really like comics, but it really did open my eyes that if this story works, that's a problem. But other than that, I've just been doing my usual and playing Master System games like Space Harrier.
Oh, yeah, I like this guy.
He's our resident Space Harrier master.
Dude, I love Space Harrier, dude. I was playing Shenmue the other day, and I start the game, I'm like, fuck this, I'm just going straight to the arcade and playing Space Harrier.
I should show you the sketch I drew of just that moment for me. It has become my favorite version of Space Harrier, Shenmue.
Yes.
We've been doing the Shenmue journey on the podcast every few weeks, and that's been Tom's MO, is basically to just breeze through some of the story stuff, then get straight to Space Harrier.
Yeah, dude, that's what I do.
I just play darks because I'm terrible at Space Harrier.
I'm not good at it either. It doesn't change the fact that it's a fantastic game.
Yeah, it really
Sure.
is.
Have you been playing anything else, or?
No.
You've been mainly painting.
Yeah, last night I discovered that turns out Liquin is actually producing harmful fumes. It's not just turpentine and odorless mineral spirits, and my apartment does not have the room for that shit. So.
Well. So you're high? He's high right now, is what you guys are saying?
Okay, it's a little bit high.
Every time I've ever painted, start out with the best intentions.
Sweet.
My apartment smells like gasoline right now. Is basically what it comes down to.
Nice. You said it was highly flammable and everything. So can you even cook or anything?
No. My kitchen is a studio, and it's the only space in my apartment that's not carpeted. So it's the only place I can paint. And
Priorities.
I can't spark anything.
So
I have a canvas drawing on my stovetop. That's probably a bad idea.
Damn. Oh, he's probably doomed by the end of the show from gas fumes.
That'll be a fun way to end this episode.
Oh God.
Brett, what do you play?
I haven't really had time to play a lot because of retail life basically. But I've been playing this short burst of like Sonic CD, Sonic 4 for some reason. I think I accidentally clicked it and I was just fucking I'll go with it.
Sonic 4, that's right. I thought you meant the Crackers demo for the Genesis. Oh, you mean the actual Sonic 4.
Yeah, Sonic 4 Episode 2, the lesser one even. So, that was a complete and total accident, but I'm still good at it, I guess.
What was the accident? The game or playing it?
the game.
Buying it was the accident, but I wanted to review it, so I was like, might as well.
Dude, I loved Episode 1. I thought it was fucking awesome. And then 2, I don't know, man. 2 just didn't do it for me.
Episode 1 was, like, I really enjoyed Episode 1, and then, like,
I did too.
And then Generations came out, and...
Yeah, Generations is awesome.
Dude, oh my god, I have not liked the Sonic game that much since the Dreamcast. I love Generations, man. I loved it.
And, like, when they brought back classic Sonic in that style, like, going back to Sonic 4 was really hard for me.
It really, dude, I know that, Generations did it for me.
Actually, Generations is what sold me on 3D Sonic, because my only exposure to 3D Sonic beforehand was not good. So after playing Generations, I was like, I should probably play Adventure now. This looks fun.
Oh, I played Adventure. Oh God.
Oh man, I'm so glad they're actually going to be fixing the Steam port of that, because God, that was such a horrible port that they did. With like the black and blue borders and just no achievements and it was a port of a port of a port of a port basically. And I'm glad they're finally.
Really.
It was like I think they like ported from the Dreamcast to the GameCube, and then from GameCube to PC. And then PC back to like 360.
Jesus.
And then 360 back to Steam or something like that.
And the Dreamcast version was still the best.
Yeah, absolutely. But yeah,
I adore the atrocious voice acting of Sonic Adventure on the Dreamcast.
Dude, I liked it too.
Yes, this is happening.
Watch out, you're gonna crash! Ah! It was so bad, but it's so charming that you just kind of live with it and just love it.
Especially
like
since the sound mixing was off, and the music was consistently louder than the voice actors.
And the music wasn't even, like, exactly the greatest.
Oh, don't say that, dude. I love the Sonic Adventure soundtrack.
Falco goes to the gym and listens to it and works out.
That's what I work out to at the gym, man. I'm like listening to like Open Your Heart and Live and Learn.
Oh, those are really good. It's like and like Speed Highway is one of the best level soundtracks they've ever done.
Oh, yeah.
And then there's stuff like there's stuff in like Amy's playthrough. It was like,
oh, okay, yeah, I'm not rocking out. I'm not rocking out to Amy.
I'm not rocking out to Amy, no.
Should we tell them who my favorite character is?
Yeah, because your favorite character makes a cameo in Adventure DX, doesn't she?
Yeah, Cream the Rabbit.
Oh, Cream.
I like Sonic Advance too.
I like Cream. Yeah, no, the Advance were really good games. I really liked all three of them, dude.
She was so
that's legit. That's legit. Yeah.
We have found more people that like Cream the Rabbit. How does this make you feel, Tom?
My life's journey might be completed.
He's been waiting for this moment his entire life. I will agree. Sonic Advance is fantastic. I didn't really play 2, and I didn't care for 3 that much, but Sonic Advance 1 was really good. Like that was it was like one of the only games I bought for GBA, and it was
I have Sonic Advance 1 too, and it's awesome. I like the music quite a bit too, actually.
Yeah, it's like for a Dimps game, it felt very close to the originals compared to some of their later attempts like Sonic Rush and
basically it had the good feels.
Exactly.
Good feels.
Yeah, I don't know if I agree with you, Brett, on that. It felt like the originals, but it didn't need to. It was just a damn good game.
Yeah. Like it just felt like gimmickless. Really, it was gimmickless, just fun.
Dude, even in Advance 3 where you could like have two characters, like I even thought that was cool as shit. Like I hated Sonic Heroes. I was like, this is fucking terrible. But like Sonic Advance, you know, like making a party with like Sonic and Amy or whatever, like that felt good. That was cool as shit.
Yeah, and that's
I
the
liked
thing
it.
like Heroes needed to do better.
Yeah.
I hope Scotty is listening to this point because he loves Sonic Heroes, I think.
Oh.
And, he needs to hear that more people hate that.
Dude, oh my god, I hated Heroes. I was so excited for that game, and then it came out, and I was like, that's it. Like, I can't believe it.
Shadow, I have always said this on the podcast. I don't know if you guys will agree with me, but I think Shadow is a better game than Heroes.
I never played Shadows because Heroes was so fucking bad. I'm like, I'm not even gonna. Nope.
Shadow was it did away with like the team gimmick and all that stuff. It was cheesy and tried too hard to be edgy, but that was kind of charming in a hilarious way. So I will accept that over what Heroes did.
Yeah, I got introduced and hooked on the game because of the music. One of our favorite artists did one of the main songs for the game, so I started listening to that, and that got stuck in my head, so I checked out Shadow.
Yeah, that was the best part of Sonic Heroes was the music.
Yeah.
Julian K.
Oh yeah, they did This Machine, and then they
dude, we saw Julian K live, man, and we told them like we started following you guys because of this game, and we have like pictures.
Yep.
No, dude, they're an amazing band.
They are very awesome.
They are fantastic.
Outside of Sonic, dude, they're amazing.
And they did like remixes for the 3DS version of Generations too, which was one of the only things I really liked about. Yeah, I think it was members of Julian K that were under
probably Amir and Ryan. Yeah, those two.
Oh my god.
Yeah, it's under the Circuit Freak banner.
Oh my god.
They did Radical Highway, I know, from Sonic Adventure 2.
God, I need.
And Sonic was like, I gotta go.
I need this in my life. Yeah. I'm gonna tab out.
It's like if you
canceled.
It's like don't play the 3DS version of Generations. Just listen to it because the music in it is good.
I love Julian K.
Yeah, Julian K is awesome.
It's really awesome. I don't know if you guys have heard that. If you like that music.
Wait, who was it?
They released an EP for California Noir, their latest album.
Oh, I haven't heard that. I need to look that up.
Awesome.
I had Death to Analog, and that was a good album.
Oh yeah.
And We're Here With You after that was also good. So.
I didn't hear that one. See, I fell out of the loop.
Check it out. It's very, very awesome. They're still at it and working hard making new music. So
good. I'm gonna have to check that out because they had the best song in Shadow by far. I thought.
Yeah.
And This Machine, it had like the cheesy lyrics and everything, but the production was fantastic.
They did the same thing for the Transformers. Like I think it was like the War on Cybertron one or whatever. They did the Decepticon theme. You can look it up on YouTube. It is amazing. They did really good with that too.
I missed out on a ton here. Damn.
Yeah, I'll link to that Decepticon thing. That was pretty cool.
Sweet. I'll have to check that out after the show. But yeah, I basically just played Sonic 4. Did a little Tony Hawk before Tony Hawk HD before the show. That's one of those games. It's like you can turn it on for like 5 minutes just while you're waiting on something. Yeah. Like if I'm waiting to go to work or something, I'll just throw it on, do free skate for a few minutes, and just get my.
I'll even just turn on the first Tony Hawk's game that ever came out, and the with the wheel that scrolls or whatever, and like just that bass line. You just turn it on and just leave it and have it as background music.
Exactly. I need like a 30-minute loop of that on YouTube or something.
Yeah.
Somebody's gotta have that. But yeah, I haven't played too much thanks to work, but that's about it. Alright, so let's get into the meat of this thing. We're not really here to talk about me playing Sonic, I don't think. We're here to talk about Elysian Shadows.
I wonder how many people stopped watching the stream.
We started talking about Cream the Rabbit and everybody laughed.
Yeah, they're like, oh god.
God, what have we stumbled onto? Yeah, for people who are watching this, haven't really kept up with the game, this is the first time we're hearing about it, can you tell us about what it's about and what can we expect from it and all that?
Yeah, absolutely. Tyler, you can do the storyline intro. I'll just kind of start off like a broad kind of overview of the game. So, Elysian Shadows started off as basically like a strictly retro 16-bit style RPG exclusively for the Sega Dreamcast that I was developing in my mommy's attic. a couple years back, and it was very much like influenced by games like Chrono Trigger and Secret of Mana. But like over the years, as we were developing this game, we kind of found ourselves wanting to add new things that weren't available back then with the limited hardware, that weren't traditionally explored in that kind of game. So we found ourselves adding things like dynamic lighting, rigid body physics, particle effects, and like over time, like we kind of realized as a team, like holy shit, this is becoming something like completely new altogether. This isn't really like a tribute game anymore, and we kind of rebranded ourselves as like a next-gen 2D RPG experience, and we focus more on trying to reinvent the genre itself, kind of trying to bring like modern gameplay mechanics to it, modern graphical effects, kind of trying to make it like clean and new for a new generation of platforms and a new generation of gamers.
Yeah. I guess the kind of story recap. Throughout the entire land of the world of Elysian Shadows, which we've named Asphodel, there are these ruins left by ancient civilizations. It's kind of accepted that it kind of exists like just outside of normal sight or off the beaten path in these caves and things like that. Dangerous monsters and whatnot inhabit them, so usually you don't go into them. The main character Julian gets caught up in this conflict between what is like the religious sects that have magic that are bestowed upon them from like the creator, and then these other civilizations that have to really rely on like science and technology in their everyday lives. So being a kind of like an adventurer or digger like that, Julian finds something deep in one of these ruins. Usually people go down there and loot them for money and stuff and find artifacts, what have you, and sell them to like museums or different traders. But the artifact that he finds specifically kind of turns the world on its head as far as this conflict between magic and religion and science and technology are concerned. You get caught up in this conflict and really have to alter the course of fate. So be it.
And I kind of, whenever I describe it as a game being made by gamers for gamers, and then I also say that we're making the game we always wanted to play growing up. I think a lot of games, like I'm not very happy with a lot of games these days just because it feels like they're either making it just for money or they're trying to water it down so like people who don't play video games will want to buy their game or like things like that. But this is like if you played the Sega Genesis and like those hard ass awesome games that just have this huge world and whatever, like that's what we're going for.
Right. And
we
like
want to be a good one.
Right. It's like that's one of my big frustrations with a lot of like the next gen stuff is there's nothing super interesting anymore.
Yeah, really, and that's why Kickstarter is such like a beautiful, innovative thing, and I get so pissed off when sites like Kotaku are bashing Kickstarter. Like, that's what this industry needs. Like, that's the force of innovation. That's like the people who are trying to do something new with gaming. Then the big companies, they're pussies. They're not going to take that kind of risk. They want to make money, But it's the little indie game developers who can take those risks and who can innovate, which is why I really think like at this point in time in gaming, like Kickstarter it's a beautiful thing. Like. Don't knock it. I'll kill you.
How many of these big studios just make 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 copies of a game, change some of the textures, same engine, same gameplay, move around some names and some text and dialogue, and throw a new label on it and ship it on the shelves for like $60. Like that's crazy. Like it's not a new experience. They're not pushing the envelope or evolving the user's experience at all.
Exactly, and that's one of the most frustrating things, and that's why I love this, is it looks completely different from really anything out there, and it's supporting a system that I can speak for a lot of people who watch this podcast and visit the site have a lot of love for. And
yeah, we love the fact that we're on Dreamcast too. And it's really funny that
Kickstarter descriptions of all the team members, and for Falco, I just wrote that he has an unhealthy obsession with the Dreamcast.
Well, I wouldn't call it unhealthy. It is an obsession, though. Absolutely. No, we fucking love the Dreamcast, man.
It's one of those. It never got the love it deserved back.
No, it absolutely didn't. And I think that's why there's such a strong Dreamcast community. And it's funny, people are like, why are you supporting the Dreamcast? You can't make any money on that. First of all, we're not supporting it to make money, but it is still our best seller, and we still are making a shitload of money. It's really funny. And I do think that the reason is because, like, so many of us, like, the Dreamcast hit us at right about the time, like, we were early teenagers and stuff. and it was Sega's last console, and I think they knew that like they were so fucked from like the Saturn, you know, it didn't do so well. I think they knew that like this was their last chance in the console market, and they went all out. They did everything right. Like it innovated so much, online gaming, visual memory units,
like, know how to process it.
Millions of polygons. It was just amazing, and for only being on the market that long, the concentration of AAA games that Sega was able to put out, like it just shows you like. They put their hearts and souls and everything they had into this because they knew it was their last chance. And I really feel like that's why it resonates with the gamers, is because like Sega had like this kind of immortal thing, you know, that's still there, you know, like they also feel like the Dreamcast didn't get its due. It's sad, but it didn't, and a lot of people don't appreciate for what it was. You know, they just jumped on the PS2.
It's also good because when we're making the game and you know that you can pop it into your Dreamcast and work on it, you want it to have the feels that the good Dreamcast games had, so you're not getting watered down by other distractions of other consoles or whatever. You got to get those Dreamcast feels, you know?
Exactly. Right. Now, you mentioned Kickstarter. You've just launched a Kickstarter. It's about 3 days old, and it's almost a third of the way through its initial goal.
Right, yeah,
yeah. Fantastic. It did about 20,000 in 2 hours, which is also fantastic.
Yeah, we did
over 36K in the first 24.
We thought we'd be successful, clearly, because you know we quit our jobs and put our lives on the line. But like we really could not have foreseen like the amount of like impact that the launch day had. Like that kind of blew our fucking minds. We're sitting there refreshing, like Jesus Christ. We sold out of like all of the custom Dreamcasts and stuff, and we're just like, holy shit. Yeah, it's been awesome.
Yeah, just seeing the emails come in, we had to start implementing filters in Gmail and everything for.
Oh yeah, man!
I mean, we get hit with like 1,000 emails. I was like, oh my god, I have no idea how to begin processing this.
We're doing an interview with like the local news station also, man. We're gonna be on TV. It's kind of cool. Like our lives really changed when we launched that Kickstarter. It's just, yeah.
It's really kick-ass to see. And like we said, you're about a third of the way through your initial goal already. You've got several stretch goals that you're planning to hit. Can you tell us some more about those, like the New Game Plus, local multiplayer, the online that you're hoping to hit at 80,000 or 800,000?
Yeah, we're really excited for a bunch of these. Like New Game Plus I felt like that was a good first one. That's kind of like standard RPG a mode like where basically you beat the game and you get to keep all of your levels, all your items and things like that, and you get to go back and rebeat the game as a badass, you know, and you're still progressing your characters on that single file, you know. You can master like the whole game, learn everything, do everything. It lets you like carry on like that. Then boss attack mode was next. For that we wanted to let you. We didn't want it to just be like this mode where like you just fight with the same fucking thing over and over in like a tier kind of way. So what we did is it's kind of a thing you can do whenever you want, pursue in the game, like kind of as like a side quest. Like after you beat a boss, you basically have the ability to go back and fight them. But when you do, you still gain experience, you gain loot. Maybe they dropped something that you didn't get the first time, so you have the ability to go back and get that. And then aside from that, it's also recording like the amount of time it takes you to beat it, the amount of damage you take to give you a score. And then when you do well enough, like there's like this whole tiered system where you can get like exclusive items and things that you wouldn't have been able to get from the main storyline. So boss attack is actually, it gives you quite a bit to explore from that.
So it's not like
Hunter a bit.
Oh, sorry.
Sounds like Monster Hunter a bit. I thought it was really cool.
Yeah.
It's not like your typical boss rush. It helps out a lot.
That's kind of boring, I feel like, and that's kind of like a, you know, to me that's like, yeah, you just threw that goal in there because that's an easy one to do. Like, I don't know, we want to do something a little more.
Give it something extra.
Right. And as you progress like down the stretch goals, like obviously they get quite a bit more ambitious. I'll talk about this one because it's my favorite, and I'm so stoked if we actually get it. This is the monster training mini game kind of deal. Like so basically how this evolves, kind of funny. We knew, especially in the Dreamcast scene, if we're making this like epic Dreamcast RPG, part of like the Dreamcast whole experience is having a VMU mini game. I feel like you need to have something for the VMU because it's fucking badass. So what we've kind of planned is as part of like a core RPG battle mechanic, your characters can have different jobs and different classes that kind of determine like the kinds of skills and moves they learn, how you want to specialize that character and things like that. So we want to add a class or a job that is actually a monster trainer. So like with this job, as you meet like all these new monsters and shit we're making throughout the game, like you can actually tame them and have them join your party and call them into battle later. And like they're kind of like Pokemon in that you can level them up and stuff. And we wanted a mini game kind of like the Chow Garden idea, where you can offload them to your VMU and take them with you and like grind them on there and then put them back in the game. But at the same time, you know, you can't really screw over the people who are on PCs.
It's not on Dreamcast.
Right. So what we're going to do is we're going to take the actual VMU mini game. We're going to bundle it with a VMU emulator, so you're still getting the authentic VMU experience, and we're going to release that mini game on iOS and Android as a mobile app. So you have like a mobile app that is a VMU emulator for the other platforms, and then on the Dreamcast you have your VMU, and it's like this Pokemon kind of style entire like side system like in parallel to the main storyline. Yeah, you can be grinding these little monsters and like leveling them up and stuff. And I just like we're big Pokemon fans. We like that idea, and like I don't know, that's one of my baby ideas.
So
I would just love to do that, man. Like I was like, shit.
We're both very excited.
I had once you started going into that, I was.
That is so cool.
That's the coolest thing I've heard.
Yeah, we wanted to do things with stretch goals that were like, damn, like that's
very
innovative, or damn, that's cool. You know, like when you start getting up to like giving us $400,000, you know, we got to do more than just fucking like, let's add another level. Oh, I hate
like,
Kickstarters.
Could be done anyway.
I hate Kickstarters where it's like an extra $20K, we're adding another level. Like, what the fuck does that mean? We don't know that like that level wasn't already there. You know what I mean? I hate that. It's like, now you added like a new area, like, or a new boss when you have no idea what the scope of the project was anyway. For all you know, you didn't even do anything, and they were planning on doing that anyway. I hate Kickstarters like that.
Well, it's like we were talking about the whole innovation thing earlier. You guys are innovating like that, and that is so dope.
But dude, that was also what we're trying to do. There's another kind of innovative tier, the cloud-based save files. Yeah. So what that is with ES, and especially like along the same veins as the Dreamcast. I grew up developing for the Dreamcast. I love the fact it has so many peripherals like the maracas, the DDR mat, the fishing rod and shit. I would like to be able to support as many of those as we can. And I would like to be able to do things like on each platform to make it more than just like fucking copy pasting and throwing this over to make money on like the PS4. I don't like that. So we thought of this idea to where basically like we have a cloud-based storage system where you can upload your save file to there and then like switch from like the Dreamcast to like your PS Vita or something and play it over there, get like the PS Vita specific stuff, get that experience, you know, maybe you're going on a trip, and then move it back to your Dreamcast. So, like, that was kind of how we envisioned like allowing you to experience ES on every console and experience like things that are console specific with one save file, you know, without having to like, you know, you're not going to buy ES again and play the whole goddamn game through just like for a couple extra side quests, and we don't really want you to have to do that. So that was
plus like we could do like system specific items or something. We talked about like kind of hiding a component to building some sort of like ultimate weapon in like each version. So like if people did have like the Vita and all that kind of stuff, like you could go through and unlock all that stuff and take all these save files back to your Dreamcast and then build this crazy weapon or something like that.
And another thing, like when I grew up, one of my first pet projects for the Dreamcast was a Samba de Amigo clone, because dude, I am a maraca master. Let me just say that. Like, I grew up playing the shit out of Samba de Amigo, and like, I don't know, I really want to have like a Samba de Amigo mini game on the, you know, the maracas. I know how to code for them. That'd be, you know, and the save tool would allow you to experience that, you know, even if Dreamcast isn't your main console. So that was just something we had in mind.
Oh man, that would be awesome. Like I said, it's all innovation. That's something a lot of people are doing, and that's something I'm like super stoked to support with this Kickstarter. I know the rest of us are too. And it's so cool hearing stuff like that. Now, we talked about stretch goals. There's also some really cool perks in there. There's strategy guides, subscriptions to Indie Game Magazine. There was a figurine, I believe. There's the custom designed consoles for the Ouya and the Dreamcast.
Yep.
Can you tell us a little bit about some of those? And if you can you give us a little peek of what the custom Dreamcast or Ouya look like?
Patrick's actually working on a concept mock-up of all that stuff right now. He did a little Ouya like 64 by 64 sprite on the web Kickstarter page, but he hasn't put anything up there for the Dreamcast yet. I think he's working on that so we can include it in one of our updates to show all of our backers what it's actually going to look like. I don't know if he's actually completed that or not yet. He might be asleep since it's like 8 or 10 hour difference between here and there. See, the strategy guide, we're actually working with Watermelon as far as our publisher. They did one for Peter Solar. They actually, Tulio, when he came to visit us, the president of Watermelon actually brought a copy of what it actually looked like and everything, let us take a look at it all, and it was a pretty awesome little book. I mean, it's full color. I mean, it was really awesome how they put it all together. So we're going to offer like digital copies of that with some of the reward tiers as well as like an add-on.
Sorry, guys, I really had to pee. I'm back.
Some of them are actually physical as well. So
I think the tier I got the $60 one that had the strategy guide. Is that the physical one, or is that the
good tier? Yeah, we don't even have a tier with the digital strategy guide right now. That'll probably be an add-on later.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yep, that's physical.
As soon as I saw strategy guide, I'm like, okay, I have to be in there because I don't want to say I'm totally scrubby on RPGs, but it's nice to have.
No, it is, and especially the way that we're probably gonna do this. Like, we're really big on like secrets and Easter eggs and all that kind of stuff. Like,
you really have to go out of your way to find it without the strategy.
You want that strategy guide? Let's just say that.
I'm going to simulate going to school and just ask Brett about things. He can tell me things that are in the strategy.
I can tell him lies basically. Like give him the wrong answers and then.
You can tell me to put the Konami code at a cave. Who am I to know if I'm doing it right?
Yeah, spend 6 hours doing it and be like, I'm gonna reach back out to these guys on the team because I don't think that's right. Like, it's broken here.
Oh man!
What about
if you play
online?
That's a crazy goal that a lot of people think we're absolutely insane anyway, but. There's a reason why we put local multiplayer right before that, was that we already considered how difficult it would be to actually do all of this. This isn't a crazy stretch goal like, oh, we'll just throw that on there if it so happens. I mean, we were both, Falco and I were both network engineers before ES. I mean, so we fully understand the kind of requirements it would take and what we would need to be able to do to actually bring the world of ES into an online experience. So it was a very realistic goal. We imagine it would play a bit like Phantasy Star Online or like Guild Wars, where like you're kind of like in a city that's shared with everybody else, or like a base camp area. Once you build up your party, you're able to leave and go outside to like a forest or the ruins or something like that, with like a party of 4 or 5.
Right.
It's like instance like that.
Because that really, what we didn't want to do is we didn't want to have to water down the single player experience or fundamentally like change our creative vision for the game just like so we could have like so many players around the area or on screen, you know. So we really wanted more of a way to let them experience like this single player campaign, which we spent so much time like creating exactly the way we wanted to. That's really the best way I felt like we should do it, is more like Phantasy Star Online, to where you were going to have 4 party members anyway, you know, you're experiencing the same thing, except now you're playing with friends like online.
It reminds me of the multiplayer in Dragon Quest IX. I don't know if you played that.
Yes, I played the shit out of that. Yeah,
Love
yes,
that game.
It's like that. Yes, me too. But yeah, that's basically like the idea behind that.
Yep.
See, Brett, I screwed with your script. What are you going to do now?
What am I going to do? Oh no! I guess I just have to end the show.
I win again.
Thanks for coming. Now we got a question from one of our usual hosts, Scotty Mo. Like I said, he's off recording with his band right now. Wine and Spirit, we'll go ahead and plug them. And he says, I love that the game is getting a physical Dreamcast release. I recently bought Gunlord for the Dreamcast, and I can't begin to describe the joy of purchasing a new Dreamcast game. So thank you for eventually giving that excitement again. Did you want to produce the game for the Dreamcast from the beginning, or was this a decision that came on later in development? I believe you mentioned that you'd...
Yeah, originally it was a Dreamcast game.
It was actually originally Dreamcast exclusive. That was where it all began, was the Dreamcast scene. Yeah.
And then It's like reverse. Everything went to the newer stuff after that.
Yes, yes. Which is kind of funny. Yeah, that's how it started.
Which is pretty cool. I mean, that as somebody who's going to get the Dreamcast game, that gives me hope that that's going to be the absolute best version.
That's what we're
yeah,
hoping to do. Yeah.
Yeah, the only problem is, man, it's some of those effects, like on the Dreamcast. Like I'm gonna go ahead and say, like we are literally pushing the console to its physical limits, and we have been for a while. I mean, we're doing things like the fact that the Dreamcast can do hardware bump mapping. There was one commercial game that did that, and it was Shenmue, and that was for one scene with one penny. Like, you zoom in on the penny, and it's like, oh shit, that's bump mapped, you know? Like, that was something like Sega themselves didn't even really explore, you know? So we're really, like, kind of pioneering there, like, trying to see, like, how much we can get out of the Dreamcast console, you know? So it's exciting, yeah, it's a little scary, but I think we'll be able to...
We might end up going through a couple consoles in the development phase. Blow a couple of them up.
I like the idea that Dreamcast is almost the lead platform, because I feel like if it, I'm not saying this to you guys, but I'm saying for some others, if it wasn't, it might be a case of, okay, there's going to be flaws with the Dreamcast version that you can't really patch out.
We're very dedicated, especially because of the differences that we'll have to do with like lighting and particles and stuff like that between like the mobile platforms versus like PC and things like that. Even though we have the ability to have these lights and particles and everything else, I mean, turning them off or staying in the normal top-down view isn't going to break the gameplay experience. I mean, you're not going to be like, oh, well, I can't do this one crazy light puzzle on the Dreamcast because it just doesn't support all of that. I mean, the gameplay will be the same experience whether it's the Dreamcast, iPhone, PC, Vita. It's just going to be the matter of what next level system you can have.
Right. That was something that's always been in our mind as we architected the game, you know, that like any platform-specific differences in like the graphics or audio or anything would never be gameplay affecting.
We had to make sure that was going to be the case. I mean, that would be crazy otherwise. Like an incomplete copy of the game for the Vita, like what kind of terrible port would that be? Like,
right, like that. And like that's something that like a lot of like big time developers and everything, they just don't give a shit about.
They do it. They just do that.
Right.
It's like they will give you a watered down port and you will like it. And that's something I'm really glad to hear, that you guys are just trying to pull as much as you can out everything to make it a similar experience.
Absolutely.
As close to perfect as it can get, and that's really, really encouraging. That actually goes into another question I had later on. Like you said, a lot of like the graphical stuff is pretty much pushing the limits of the Dreamcast. Like the dynamic lighting, the seamless view switching, all that stuff. How did they give you any? Like, how many problems did the Dreamcast give you, being like 15-year-old hardware and everything, trying to implement stuff like the dynamic lighting and all that?
You know, I think that the biggest one is not so much that. It's more of just not having enough video RAM for a lot of the textures, which is funny. We kind of like actually got around that. One of our buddies is like I'm really good. I'm getting like a master's degree in computer architecture. I've been doing low-level coding for like half my life. But I swear to God, this motherfucker reads the Dreamcast like CPU document every night before he goes to sleep. Like, he knows it. He knows it so well, and he developed a tool that basically like seamlessly or losslessly is able to analyze like a set of textures and apply not only the Dreamcast hardware texture compression algorithm, but also palette it. It's like you can have a texture that's compressed like 1:64 and still look amazing. So that's really one of our secret weapons. I feel like that's going to help us, like with especially like all the textures and sprites. Yeah, and that was something like that wasn't even added to Sega's development kits until like right at the end of the console's lifetime.
We got a question from YouTube about this very kind of thing.
Oh.
This is an engine question from ID Fan Engine Coder.
Oh, that guy, I watched stuff on that guy's channel. He's awesome. Just side note.
His name's awesome. That's cool.
This awesome person asks, how are you handling multi-platform code? Are you using SDL2 on any platform? Is
No.
it one project with a lot of if-defs, or you have a separate bunch for every
platform? It's a lot more complicated than that. Basically, we've created our own like multi-platform layer of abstraction that's like a statically compiled library that we link against. It's called libgyro, and basically we implement our own platform-specific driver calls for things like video, audio, and input for each platform on there. So like the Dreamcast is using Chaos and like some custom, basically like a custom video driver that we wrote from scratch, and some assembly shit. And then like the PC is using OpenGL. It's not all one SDL-based framework. It's implemented like completely different to the metal under the hood on basically like each platform.
Pretty sweet.
Yeah, otherwise there's no way it would run that well. No way.
I
And
actually
on the Ouya too, yeah, the Ouya was a little hard to get up to.
I actually have a question coming off of this, because every single time I see guys like you doing this kind of stuff, it makes me feel stupid. Because I actually have a master's in software engineering myself. And when I started, one of the first things I did while getting that degree was start looking into, I want to make stuff for the Dreamcast. I just got done a compiler construction course. How much work could this possibly be for me? And it turns out a lot. I don't
Dude,
even know where to
it
get started.
is, man. It's not easy to write for the Dreamcast, yeah, unfortunately. Once you're up and running, it's not bad, but yeah, there's a hell of a learning curve.
Yeah.
I'll just mention that I'm going into my 3rd year of computer science, and being on this team makes you feel like the biggest moron ever. Like, I just write stuff, and then 2 seconds later, just like, oh, why'd I say that? I just said that to Falco and Tyler. Like,
No, man, it's been a learning experience the whole way. I mean, that was the nice thing about Elysian Shadows overall, was like during the part of R&D and building the engine and toolkit and everything, I mean, the project grew with us. I mean, as we learned more, and even today, I mean, like, you know, I learned little nuances here and there with like the scripting languages and interacting with C and C++, and I'm like, I didn't think about it this way beforehand, or things like that. So.
And that's really what the project has always been about, and that's one of the reasons like I've always like loved it and been so emotionally invested, is because we've been able to make it grow with ourselves as a developer. And as I'm pushing myself as a programmer, I'm really into engineering. Like, I'm very passionate about my field. I was an engineer at work, but the reason I love video games is because it's not only engineering, it's taking like the math and the science and the code, and it's doing something that's creative and artistic with that, you know. And that's why I want to make a game, is because that's letting me, you know, like connect with an audience emotionally and do something creative with something that's basically like completely technical. And like it's not like I learned how to do this stuff at school either. Like, this was basically all like my free time. I started coding for the Dreamcast when I was 14, because I wanted to make a goddamn Dreamcast game. But like even like a while ago, I did not know how to do the dynamic lighting. For the longest time, we didn't have dynamic lighting, and it was actually our artists.
It's a very recent addition.
Our artists would always fucking bitch at me, dude. If I had dynamic lighting, I'm like, you're out of your goddamn mind. You're not getting that. And then it was Christmas break. Like, I sat there and like I saw some YouTube video of some guys trying to do dynamic lighting with their engine. And I just looked at it. I was like, God damn it, I really, really want to try this. And I was like, if I'm gonna do
it better than theirs,
I'm like, if I'm gonna do this, like, my ego, I have to make the best 2D dynamic lighting engines. Like, I bought all the OpenGL books, I did all the research on the internet, looked at what other people were doing, and I tried to like architect an engine that was basically better than all of them. No offense, but thank you for the inspiration. So I could come back to Patrick and be like, there, get off my dick, you got lighting. I don't know, that's kind of how lighting happened. I'm glad it did, though.
Yeah, that's freaking breathtaking to see that in a 2D game, no less, on a Dreamcast. That's just breathtaking to see.
And it gave us a lot of trouble, man.
I did the same thing for audio to Falco, though. I was like, I want to be able to play the sound effects and 3 audio streams all at the same time, going in and out of each other, and he's just like, oh boy.
Yeah, Connor joined the team all this time ago, and the first thing he says is like, "Oh, I'm gonna need like this crazy audio engine and all that." And Falco's like, "This pump, this motherfucker!" Like, out of nowhere demanding this.
It's like their job to make me hate myself, really. Like, yeah, he joins the team out of nowhere. He makes like this giant 1-page post about this audio engine he needs. That's like 100% positional and 3D space and like dynamically fade in and out tracks. I'm like, who the fuck does this guy think he is? But then I did it, and I'm like, yeah, okay, like, goddamn.
And then now it's one of our bigger bragging points.
Yeah, so-
Yeah, we actually had a question from one of our other writers that about that. He said he noticed the music was designed around 3D positioning. Were you tempted to make this a 3D game in terms of graphics and gameplay?
I mean, it is.
Well, actually, it's complicated because the game is technically truly 3D. Like everything in it is actually rendered in 3D space.
Yep.
It's just a matter of the camera perspective and the camera angles, how you perceive the game. But everything from the way that we're developing the levels in our level editor, it is truly 3D, and that's why we're able to do so much of this and have these 3D lighting effects and this 3D audio is because it under the hood, it is a fundamentally 3D game.
During debug at any given point, like we can launch the engine from the toolkit and hit a key sequence, and even though like the scene is typically just top down, boom, it's just instantly viewed in 3D, and we can move the camera around independent of the player character and view everything and make sure like elevation and layering and everything else is correct. And
no, we didn't really plan on that at first. That was just something like as the game evolved and as we added this lighting and shit, I was like, there's no way to represent this or to have the light hit this shit in the right manner without like fundamentally having these objects be in 3D space. That was just something like by necessity we wound up having to make it 3D, and then once we did that, we're like, like all you have to do is change the camera angle now and it's full 3D, and so it just kind of grew from there. A lot of it was just as we're developing, we're like, holy shit, that looks cool, that works. Like it's very organic the way it evolved.
So it seems like you really try to make things happen for this project, even if it's extremely hard. So that makes me wonder, when are we going to get 3D dramatic lighting on the Master System?
Jesus Christ. You must be one of our artists, right?
You fit right in.
Well, we did mention he does do some art, so...
Yeah, it's not good.
Alright, so we mentioned the Master System and like everything going to a Dreamcast and everything. What's your opinions on like games that are only getting like Dreamcast releases? Like Pierre Solar, I believe, just was like a cartridge only released at first before it came to like PC or mobile or anything like that. It's cool that you guys are taking like the safe route, supplying it to diehard Sega fans, but also to people who only have access to PCs, don't have a Dreamcast. Do you think it's a good idea for a collector's item to release the games only on old school cartridges, or do you think it's limiting the market?
I just cut out. Did someone else who heard that?
The hangout lagged so badly there for a couple of minutes. I caught the tail end of that.
Shit.
That was the most long-winded one I had.
Avoiding the question, no.
Read that.
But like Gear Solar, it only was on like a Genesis cartridge at first and stuff like that. Do you guys like that as an idea of like it only being like for that to be a collector's item to release games only on old school cartridges or just like Genesis cartridges, Dreamcast discs, stuff like that? Or do you think it's limiting the market?
I don't think there's a right or wrong answer to that. It depends on what your goal is. And, if you want somebody to play your game like it's a Genesis game and that is your goal, you want to recreate the feels of the Genesis for somebody, then that's what you would do. Putting it on the PC would just water it down. But if it's like my goal with the soundtrack is I want somebody to listen to it and hear it like when I hear Akira Yamaoka's Silent Hill stuff. And so that can be on any console. So if we put it on any console, it doesn't change what the experience is. So it makes sense to put it on other consoles.
Right.
So it depends on what you just want to do.
I mean, we are offering physical editions for like things other than the Dreamcast. I mean, our goal for PC distribution is immediately after the Kickstarter, we're going to submit for Steam's greenlight process. So that way we can offer like the Mac, Linux, Windows all in one digitally that way. But we are also offering the physical copies of that. Granted, we've sold like just exponentially more Dreamcast ones, and people have asked us, I need to get the Japanese and the European editions too. Can you please add those as add-ons? Because Dreamcast people are crazy, but in a good way. But the PC stuff has also sold. So I guess it really depends on what your level of like collector needs. I mean, we feel that like obviously the PC and the mobile markets, people are so used to digital downloads and Steam-based things like that. I mean, even now, I don't buy a PC game anymore unless it's a collector's edition that comes in like an awesome box and has all kinds of crazy stuff. Like I had like the Diablo one, and Witcher and everything like that. But I won't go buy just a regular standard edition PC game. It's not worth it. I don't want to have to put that on my shelf with everything else. I'll just get it digitally. So,
Right.
I mean, if people want it and we made it as a reward, they'll have it, I guess.
Right. Okay. So as far as inspirations go, you mentioned games like Chrono Trigger, Secret of Mana. You also mentioned on the Kickstarter page, like God of War was a huge influence on the combat system.
Yeah.
Is there anything that may surprise people that inspired the game?
Yes.
Maybe.
All kinds of stuff. I mean, everyone on the team comes from kind of obviously a different walk of life in different countries and things like that. So I mean, we bring a lot of our personal experiences and not just gaming growing up to the table with it as well. So I mean, like growing up, I played like Legends of Dragoon was one of my biggest influences. I wasn't a huge fan of Final Fantasy VII, and that's
game.
not like a hugely popular game if you're not a fan, but that was my kind of proverbial like Chrono Trigger back in the day. I had a PlayStation. Castlevania has been a huge influence for me. I love the Castlevania franchise, but we're not quite built for like the side-scrolling Metrovania like that. I mean, but we can change one line of code in the engine and flip it to that perspective for like a small area or something like that too. So I think people will be really surprised, and I guess Donkey Kong Country was another one too. We have a minecart in the first like cave of the game. And we were talking about doing like a Donkey Kong Country sequence where like you're in the minecart and you got to kind of jump over this platform stuff and like that side 2D perspective that way. So I think some people playing the game will just kind of be like, "Whoa, that's cool. That's like Donkey Kong Country or like Crash Bandicoot have like a chase sequence or something like that." People won't quite know what to think of, especially like in a 2D RPG. We just break perspective, go to this crazy 3D environment and recreate some sort of game mechanic from a much more modern game like that.
And talking about the Dreamcast so much is that my favorite genre, survival horror, died right around the same time that the Dreamcast was kind of going out and stuff. So me and Daniel, who is a web designer and level designer, I offhanded mentioned to him, like, oh, I'm doing this stuff that's like very RE2, Silent Hill 2 influenced, and then he was like, oh man, I want to do that too. And so people who are like me that want survival horror feels but haven't had them for like 10 years now, there's going to be some stuff here that may accomplish the feels. That's all I'm going to say.
We can do fixed camera perspectives and things like that. You walk down a hallway and like it's stuck. And I don't know if you guys have seen the screenshots from the Kickstarter. There's one where like you're in a museum in front of us.
He cut out there.
There's a shot in the museum and he's running back and forth and like the lighting. It's got like that kind of red RE1 carpet going on and stuff. Like
yeah, here it is. Let me see if I can pull that up right quick and screen share it.
And that's one of my favorite things that this dynamic lighting engine has really allowed us to do. I don't feel like any other 2D game, especially not a 2D RPG, has been able to use dynamic lighting to create kind of like emotionally tense scenes like you would see in a survival horror game. And it's been something like super rewarding to see, like, holy shit, we can introduce aspects of that into something like I don't think any of us had ever initially planned for. Like,
Google Hangouts is going crazy on me.
Yeah, it's cutting Falco out. I hear him talking in the other room. But...
like it cut you out, then it cut him out. And now my webcam's not coming back up, I don't think. Oh boy.
It cut you out for like most of that. I could hear you talking down the hall, but
yeah, mine's lagging badly. I just said that, like,
technical issues. Falco, I just wanted to toss that to you. If you could check in the group chat real quick, there was a question from YouTube I wanted to see if you wanted to answer or not. Or if he's gone now. What? Okay, Brett, are you alive?
I'm here. Yeah, I'm here. I just
it's just a black hole.
Yeah, my camera isn't working for some reason. Oh, now it's acting like it's gonna work.
I cut out, but did you ask about Marcel, like my brother's, like?
Yes, this is a question from YouTube from ID Fan Engine Create.
There's really not much to say about that. I mean, like, over time, like, he just hasn't been interested in the project, and he just kind of went his own way and did his own thing, and we kind of continued on. You know, it takes a lot of commitment, a lot of a shitload of commitment to do something like this, you know, and a lot of people who were previously on the team just didn't have the commitment to stay with the project this long or do what needed to be done, and it just went from there. It's not really anything we could do about it, you know. It was more their
decision. It's not really a negative thing. I mean, we choose to be this crazy.
Everybody on the team that's on the team right now is just like bananas. Like everybody's just so into it. It's awesome.
Yeah. And that's why we're successful.
Out of the rest of them.
Yeah, that's why we're successful. Is because we scared the shit out of everyone else who wasn't as serious as we are. And now they're not here.
I mean, that worked out perfectly because look at where the game is now.
Right,
and
right.
Look how fantastic it looks and everything.
It just took a while to find people that batshit insane that would want to do a project like that.
I mean, that's the cool thing too. Is like, you know, Connor and Dan and these other guys have been fans of like our YouTube series before they approached us, as far as wanting to be team members. So they were already knew about the project. I mean, they were obviously passionate about their respective specialties. And then, you know, they approached us. You know, we were mentioning, hey, we're looking for like a sound guy, and you know, we had a ton of people throw demos at us and everything else. But you know, what Connor threw at us, we were like, this is, we feel the potential with this. I mean, this has the feels, you know, and. He joined the team, and he's been crazy with us ever since. So
it's been good because when I was growing up, I played Harvest Moon on Super Nintendo, and I was like, I want to make a game like this one day, but I want it to be darker and have like the Resident Evil feels or something. And then I'm working on Elysian Shadows, and this is starting to happen. I'm like, oh shit, man, I'm making a game I always wanted to make. That's just pretty sweet.
Awesome. Now we mentioned like RE2 and like Castlevania and all that as inspirations. You mentioned on the website that NPCs play a significant role in the game. Their actions change depending on time of day, and it sounds a bit like how the NPCs behave in Shenmue.
Yep, that's right.
Was that a big inspiration?
That was actually. At least for me, creatively, yes. I really loved Shenmue, and I love that aspect of it.
Yeah, it really makes our world feel really cohesive and real, as to where like you don't have like these static characters who, no matter how many hours you've been playing, are standing right there saying the same line of text the whole freaking time. Like they've got their own lives. Like if you decide to come back to town at midnight, like they're not going to be standing there trying to sell you something. Like they're in bed or off doing something else. Like. I mean, it really brings the world to life, and that's not something that like you typically would see in like older RPGs like Chrono Trigger and stuff like that.
You don't even see it like really in a lot of newer RPGs.
No, man.
I played Lightning Returns, Final Fantasy 13.
I'm sorry.
And I felt I had to finish the series, but
dude, I beat every single Final Fantasy, and then I got to 13. I was like, I quit.
You gotta play Type Zero. I've got that on PSP, and that is a genuinely great game. But yeah, like I got to that.
Another Type Zero.
I'm not gonna go into that. We're talking about a different RPG this time. But yeah, I've noticed like even in a game that is made in 2013, 2014 on a PlayStation 3, it still has that kind of static to it.
It really does.
Yeah.
Like
Shenmue was a masterpiece, man. That was a game that was ahead of its time, and like it came out at like towards closer to the end on the Dreamcast. Not that many people like got to play it or appreciate it, but like I mean, even today that game is still fucking impressive.
Yeah, and like that's what we've learned like through the Shenmue journey we're doing on our podcast is like there are some things about that we find a bit silly and stuff like that. Some of the voice acting's a bit dated.
Yeah.
But like the stuff it innovated.
It really, I know, it's so it's hard. It's so hard to explain Shenmue to people who like haven't played it. They're like, wait, why the fuck would this be fun? Like you get up and like fucking drive like forklifts and like then hang out at like the arcade.
I'm like, sailors.
I'm like, dude, it's amazing.
Maybe I should have another.
Maybe I should buy another. I should be thankful.
You should be grateful. You should be grateful.
I should be grateful. God, but yeah,
ID Fan Engine Coder just wants you guys to know that you're awesome. Keep it up. Keep it going. Crazy hardcore is the only way. Yeah.
It's the only way we know.
We appreciate it.
Stuff on his channel.
I like that dude.
I do too.
Yes, we all love you. Guy whose name I can't quite remember.
That's where I go for all my John Carmack videos. It's awesome.
Sweet.
All right. So you've got a ton of ideas in this game, a ton of inspirations. Is how do you like avoid spreading yourself too thin with these ideas and putting too much into the game? Is that easy, hard?
Hey, there's one that I can
regulates
answer.
itself. I mean, yeah, go for it, Connor.
Well, like the Lua stuff that Tyler works on, like this Lua scripting, is you can put something in the game, like you could put a bookshelf description in, and it takes like 5 seconds. And then if it sucks, you take it out and nothing is lost. Like, it's not like you're making this gigantic 3D AAA room and it takes a week to build, and if it sucks, you can't take it out because that's thousands of dollars lost. Right. It's like, oh, I want to throw this thing in the game, takes a minute. If it sucks, take it out. If it doesn't, move on the next thing. When you ever have good ideas, you just put it in and build up on it. It's sweet.
Yeah, and the rest of the team, as far as like different ideas we have about this or that, I mean, we're extremely honest with one another too. And we mentioned this in a podcast the other day that like, if we say, hey, let's this cool idea, let's implement this, let's do this, blah blah blah, and like, Connor might be like, that is fucking dumb. This is the worst mechanic I've ever seen. Like, you cannot put this in the game. This is just, what are you doing? And we're like, yeah, you're right, okay.
Yeah, because I mean, we're gamers. We're not going to let each other put something in the game that sucks. I mean, we'll be straight up honest, like, sorry, bro, that's shit. Let's not
like, if somebody wanted to put on-screen button prompts and QTEs all over the place, I'd be like, fucking no way, it's not happening.
Oh, yeah.
On that topic, are there any QTEs? Since there is some Shenmue inspiration here, are there?
There are not QTEs.
Thank you.
Shenmue is good, whereas other games that have QTEs, they don't do it well, and the game sucks. So it's
it's like a double whammy.
Yeah.
Oh man, I had to ask.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I'm gonna toss out the most self-serving question of the day because I like doing that.
All right.
So I am just currently an aspiring artist. I picked it up and I'm really having a lot of fun with it, and I hope to do art for an original game someday. I was just wondering if you had any pointers for future artists out there who want to make video games.
I'm not qualified to answer that.
I'm not really. The art process is so much different than like coding or anything else. I mean, the only thing I can really speak of would be my experience in working like with Patrick and Leandro. Patrick, when he joined the team, he's the lead artist, and most of the art that you see in the screenshots and the videos is his work. We brought him in as a concept artist originally. He had never done pixel art his entire life, believe it or not. And we had a couple other artists that we recruited a bunch of people initially, and they left, what have you. And Patrick stuck with us because he's crazy, insane. And he's like, you know what? I can do pixel art. It's just another form of art. Like, what the hell? Why not? And he started trying, and of course, like initially, I mean, he's so self-critical too. He's like, I just want to show you guys this. Like, check out this house. It's complete shit, but look at it. Like, look where I'm going. It's the right direction, And like now, if you, like I said, you look at these screenshots, almost all of the art you see in it is his. So don't ever give up. A lot of people say like, I guess like in coding, start small, release like little games and stuff like that. It's better to have more releases than it is to work on a really ambitious project. But I think the more ambitious it is, the harder you push your own boundaries. The more that you're passionate about something and you're willing to go that extra length to get really good at it. I mean, it's that kind of passion that will take you somewhere.
And I think the biggest thing to take home from everything, like whether it's music, art, or programming, because we all kind of share this, is be self-critical. Like, be self-critical.
Be objective as you
can. Always, know your limits. Don't necessarily accept them, but always judge yourself. Not necessarily like, don't judge yourself based on, oh my God, this doesn't look as good as like fucking some AAA PS4 game. Judge yourself based on how far you've come. Judge yourself based on, okay, this doesn't look that good yet. I'm trying to get there. I will get there, but it looks a lot better than it did last week. That's
you got to be iterative too. Like,
that's how you improve, and that's how you don't just fucking like, oh, I'll never be that good and give up. You have to be realistic. You have to be objective. You have to be able to criticize yourself, and you have to have like the foresight and the faith in your own ability to know that eventually you'll make it there.
Yeah. And that's what we've done with
you. Is the same as Patrick's. Is that I had never done chiptune or fantasy-based music before joining Elysian Shadows, and then we put this music out, and there's some people on the Kickstarter comparing me to like some of the awesome final or like fantasy composers and stuff, and it's like, I've never done this before, but you love what you do, and
your childhood hero.
Step towards it.
So
and along
I have one last question from myself. Basically, is that I noticed you guys, unlike pretty much the rest of the internet, actually seem to genuinely like the Ouya. So there any games on that platform that you want to give a shout out to and tell people to grab?
This is gonna sound really bad. I don't really play games much on the Ouya. I am just code on it. I bought Sonic 4 Episode 1 and 2 just because like I'm a huge Sonic fan, but I haven't like I bought it so late like while we were like killing ourselves for Elysian Shadows. Yeah, that like I have not really had a chance to sit down and like play with it outside of like being a developer and trying to fucking assembly optimize it, you know? So I wish
there's plenty of games that are on our list for research purposes post Kickstarter that we want to go back and play to make sure that we're getting the feels correct in our game. But like for the Ouya, we want to see like what other games are out there. How we compare to what the market already has. I mean, we do have that kind of stuff on our list. It's just been crazy.
I do want to say this though, like so a lot of the backers that like jumped out and like supported us were the Dreamcast scene and also like the Ouya scene. Like we do a lot of promotion ourselves. We do a lot of PR ourselves. Like there's all kinds of forums we post our game on, and they're like, you guys look like absolute fucking shit. Like I will never back this. I hate you guys. I hope you die. And you gotta get used to that. But like it's really refreshing when you approach a community and like they're completely receptive and they're like, holy shit, like I understand what you're doing creatively, like I like this game, I could get behind this, and the Ouya community has been so refreshing, and they've been like that, and it's been so weird like compared to the other communities of like dick hornets that these guys are so genuine and supportive. It just makes me like, all right, I'm glad we're on the fucking Ouya. I like these guys. Like I like being a part of this community. I like the vibes in the same way that I do really like the Dreamcast scene and the people there. I really think the Ouya scene is like has a lot of good guys there, and I really like what they're doing with it.
What?
Oh, yeah. Oh, it was an awkward silence. I was waiting on Tom to ask something else.
No, I already told you. That was my last question. I'm done with working.
That's your last self-serving question, is what you thought.
It's factually accurate. What of it?
All right, so now
like an old married couple.
Oh, we're not going to go into that routine. Not on this episode. God. Now, as far as the music goes, like you mentioned Akira Yamaoka, who is awesome, and you mentioned some Final Fantasy composers, and you mentioned this is one of your first times like working with chiptunes. What other inspirations have you had on this soundtrack, and what can we expect from it?
Okay, well, when I was a teenager, I made like black metal because I was super hardcore. And
oh yeah.
And then I worked in survival horror and trance and breakbeat and stuff. And so my influences are like, Donkey Country, Phantasy Star, Akira Yamaoka, he's my all-time favorite musician, Golden Sun, stuff like that. So the inspirations are all the right ones, but then my background means that our soundtrack isn't like, oh, RPG composers making RPG game number 76. It's like, it'll be hopefully very original, and the direction it goes in will be different, so it offers something new, but it comes from the right place. That's what I want it to be.
Yeah, you like as a gamer and as someone like who loves chiptune music, like the thing I like most about Connor's shit is like his shit. Like I don't know, it especially like if you listen to like his town theme and his like boss themes and the way I really when we made this Kickstarter video, we almost didn't have time. It almost killed us to end the video the way we did with the boss reveal and that music. But like I really feel like that music, like where it picked up and like the drums drop, like I feel like he's taking like the chiptune style and like the feels and like he's giving it balls, man. It feels like goddamn. Like I don't know if it's rock influences or what, but like that is my favorite fucking part. Like the balls that his chiptune songs have.
Reminds me of like the Shadow the Hedgehog music.
Like I don't think I've ever like listened to a chiptune song and like genuinely like rock the fuck out to it. Like the way he does it, I don't know. I love that, dude. That's why I listen to it at the gym. I'm like, yeah. I get into it, man. I'm like,
well, the thing about this soundtrack for me is like my entire goal in life is that if I can make music or a game or whatever that affects me the same way Kiryu Yamaoka or like Rammstein or whatever my favorite games growing up affected me, I could do that for somebody else, then I can die happy. That's it.
That's how I feel with like the story and the gameplay, like cutscenes and this, all that kind of stuff too. Is like, you know, you have those feels from like older games that you play growing up, to where like Legends of Dragoon, you can pop in a save file, and at any given point during the game, I can tell you what was going on in my life at that point when I played it. So like, I mean, it stuck with me for so long that like I feel that if we do get like one person who we affect that way, or maybe even inspire them to go into game development or something like that through the game, I mean, like, that's incredible. Like,
it's all about the feels.
Yeah.
I have some questions from YouTube.
All
We'll try
right.
to get through them
right.
individually. Space Cowboy Kenny asks, you use 2D sprites within a 3D environment within Elysian Shadows. In the future, will you be considering creating a fully fledged 3D Dreamcast game?
I don't know. For us, it's not like, you know, some people have it in their mind that like 3D is like the next step in evolution, like it's better than 2D fundamentally, but that's not at all the way we feel, you know, like I feel like 2D sprites in a 3D world is much more innovative and something like way more new than just like a full-fledged 3D game, which we could totally do. I mean, it's not like it's not there. Like literally, this engine is 3D. Replace the sprites with models. Like it's, you know, okay. Like now you have a 3D game. You know, I don't know. I'm not sure creatively. You know, like part of the thing is like we feel like we're pushing the envelope and doing something new. You know, I don't know. I'm not sure. Like I don't know.
We'll answer that question better in like a year and a half.
Yeah, that was a shitty response to that question, but you know.
Jeffrey Sykeston says, well... Okay.
Don't worry, we get it. We get it.
Okay. Solux, in building off of that, asks, will there be a ton of secrets in ES, but... well, I know there'll be a ton of secrets in ES, but will some of that ES team humor be included as well?
Yeah.
There's no way we can make it.
Dude, we already have some secrets planned that are just fucking... We can't even say them because, like, we want you to be like, oh.
Yeah, you don't want to spoil them.
Oh, no, we don't want to spoil, but, like, when you get to that point, you're just like, oh, my God, I see what they did there.
Yeah, that's what I want.
Love moments like that.
Yeah, me too.
So, Fall of Eden asks a question that could probably go ages on in its own, but maybe just a few.
He asked how we did dynamic lighting, right?
I wish. He wants to know, or she, I don't know. I have a question. How do I go about getting my project noticed? Yeah, how would you suggest going about getting the press?
Yeah.
With thick Alabamian accents.
So, no, I mean...
Be ridiculous and put yourself on YouTube since high school.
No, like, for us, what worked is, like, being real with the audience. Like, I'm not saying you have to go through YouTube, but that is what got us famous. It's our Adventures in Game Development series on YouTube. And it's not necessarily that we were on YouTube, it's that people were able to see, like, these guys, like, pouring their hearts and souls into a project. It's like, through whatever medium you can find, like, I feel like that's part of it. Like, show the human nature, show yourself, find a way to connect emotionally with your audience is I believe, like, that's the key to getting your project noticed outside of, like, having a shitload of money, you know? You have to somehow find a way to get yourself out there like that, I feel like.
I mean, like, on Adventures in Game Development, we're real. I mean, like, what you see in the videos is, like, the engine either crashing or us staying up all night, and, like, sometimes in the background you can see, like, the sun coming up, like, behind the blinds and stuff like that. I mean, if you were here during the filming of it, that's exactly what it is. I mean, it's raw. We don't edit stuff like that. I mean, it is what it is. And, like, I think people connect with that and they realize, like, I mean, that's exactly what it's like. They're like, this is the stuff we go through. And they realize that, you know, there is someone else out there fighting the good fight like that. And, I mean, that's one way we've been really able to connect with our audiences.
A lot of people make the mistake of thinking that you only have to work smart and not work hard. You have to do both.
Bullshit, yeah, for real.
You mentioned people like being there and seeing it all happen. That's one of the Kickstarter perks, isn't it? Like,
yes, we've had quite a few people.
Yeah.
On that, so.
Yeah, we had someone get, like, it's called the experience. It's like a $500 one. We had someone do that, and he messaged us. He's like, "Look, I don't know anything about game development. I've never done anything but I've been watching you motherfuckers on YouTube for so goddamn long that if I didn't like come hang out with you, I would hate myself. So like, we're so stoked to meet that guy. We're like, oh yeah, he's gonna come over. We get to hang out with him.
Man, he gets the experience. He gets to sleep on the couch and drink some Alabama moonshine with us, and play Rock Band, and come in here and see the dev studio. So.
I want to try Alabama moonshine.
Oh yeah,
The Alabama Rita, yeah.
that's how we get all these crazy inspirations, man. It's
I still have a bottle of absinthe.
Oh God, yeah.
oh, don't get us started on absinthe.
Oliver asks, or Oliver, I don't know. They want to know, when talking to an NPC or boss, if there'll be like anime-style portraits of both characters talking to each other with like text blocks.
Kind of like Fire Emblem and stuff.
Like a Persona or Blaze Blue or something like that.
We've thought about doing that.
Depends on which team member you ask.
Yeah, we've thought about doing that. I mean, it is absolutely possible with the way that we have all that stuff set up now. I mean, the dialogue system, especially what you saw in like the Kickstarter video, is still very basic. We debated on whether we were even going to show that or not.
We're still passionately fighting over that shit.
Yeah, because I argued for it, and then some other people were like,
I argue against it because I want to zoom the camera in 3D and like show you more of the sprite so you can portray emotion on the sprite itself. But yeah, we're gonna argue and probably get in fist fights over that, so we're not sure yet.
Whatever decision we make will be the one that complements the gameplay the best.
Yeah,
obviously.
I would like
it's where our internal democracy works.
to apologize to our streamers watching on Google Plus, because apparently they've been asking questions and I have been ignoring Google Plus because it's Google Plus.
Shit.
Wait, we've had questions on Google Plus? What?
Not on our stuff. Of course not. It's on their page.
Oh, okay.
Oh, it's our fault. Damn. Yeah.
I don't know. I need to look that up now. I'm gonna find those. But meanwhile, another question came in from Benjamin Stanley. Would you guys like to see a next generation Dreamcast, and what made the Dreamcast awesome for you guys?
Oh yes,
that would be amazing.
Yes, we would. What was the second part of that? What made the Dreamcast awesome?
Yep.
Did
you guys post this on Google Plus?
I think we might have, probably, because we're
like our Twitter and everything else.
Media whores, like when we do anything, it's like, whoa, social media.
Yeah, because I'm not seeing it, so I can't answer these questions.
Let me see if I.
Maybe we didn't.
Brett, check out the Sega Addicts Google Plus Hangout. Anyways, yeah, what made the Dreamcast awesome?
VMU.
I was about to say
there are so many goddamn things. Like it was the VMU. It was like the online abilities. It was how many like AAA truly innovative games came out for it in such a small period of time. It was the whole culture. Like you go back and look at the Dreamcast magazines. They've got like I don't know, like half-naked chicks, and it's like, oh yeah, there's a naked chick here, but like it's got the Dreamcast, like.
Oh, here we go.
Dude, their advertising was just so edgy, and like the Dreamcast was so fucking cool, and like I don't know, like I missed that aspect of like gaming where it was like, I loved it, man.
Actually, I have a good way of answering that. Is if you're an RPG fan, compare like on the N64 when there was only Quest 64, and then compare the Dreamcast.
Yep.
Like,
we had Harvest Moon 64. It was pretty all right.
Yeah, I have that.
Classic. I have it too.
Good.
I'm trying to get the Google Plus thing up.
One of the questions someone from Google Plus asked was like, "Are you guys going to have the Dreamcast support widescreen?"
Yeah, it's called Anis. What the fuck is it called? What on the Dreamcast?
Anamorphically.
Yeah, you can't technically do widescreen on the Dreamcast, like the hardware anamorphic. Yeah, the hardware just does not support it. So what you can do is you can render to change the frame buffer size so that you're rendering to something that's still the 16:9 ratio, and then set your TV to upscale that, and then it will look widescreen and it will look correct like that. So that's how you do it on the Dreamcast. But yes, we will be doing that.
Thank you, Tyler.
Yep. I'm looking down through to see what other questions we have.
Let's see. I got I pulled up some questions on the Google Plus page. I think no, that's one you just answered, I believe.
I'm gonna feel bad because I can't pronounce this name. So I'm just gonna ask this question, and hopefully that'll be all right.
It's probably for my mom.
do you feel the initial hype that gave you the 40K plus on your Kickstarter will die out? And
Oh, looky here, a pessimist. Do I feel like the initial hype will die out? Yes, absolutely it will, which is why we're continuing to build hype by doing podcasts like this and by reaching out to the gaming community. Yeah, we're not just sitting here resting like, oh, fuck, a lot of people got excited. No, that hype will die out, and that's how a campaign works, and that's why we're not sitting on our asses like drunk, like reveling in the glory. We're making battle plans, we're reaching out to other people. Yeah. No, I mean, like, we have a strategy. We know, like, gaming sites to reach out to. We know how to keep the hype going, and that's what we're going to try to do. But to answer your question, yes, like, to be blunt, of course it's going to die down. That's the nature of crowdfunding. That's how it works.
Even if we knew that it wouldn't, we still have to hit those audio stretch goals, so we still have to.
Yeah, we got to get Connor his equipment.
I feel like that guy was hoping we'd be like, no, it's not going to die down. We have faith. We're optimists. Like,
we're realists.
Little Mr. Pessimist.
We had someone else from Google Plus ask us, digital copies of the team's development notebooks. What exactly are these?
So basically these are so on the Kickstarter we offered for the artist concept art and pixel art. For the musician we offered the soundtrack. For the overall game design of the game we offered the design document. But we also have people who followed us so long on YouTube who we inspired to become like programmers and get into game development that way. So we wanted something to represent the more technical programming aspect of game development, which, you know, that's not as mainstream as the others. We didn't want to include it in a tier. But what that is basically as we've been developing this technology, the engine, Elysian Shadows, Tyler and I have been keeping development notebooks or diaries, which has like all the lighting equations, like the software architecture for the audio engine, and just basically like a brain dump of like, you know, this is how the software works. This is how we're architecting it, that we would like to be able to give to fans as something to really for the more technical side. That's what that is. He's like, why the fuck would I want that?
Yeah.
You know, we've already sold a lot of those. I feel like that's something new that not other Kickstarters are doing, but like we definitely do have a lot of interest in that side of development just because of our YouTube videos. You know, a lot of people never like were introduced to that aspect of game development until they started seeing us, and you know, now they're interested.
We used to have those like edumacation segments where we would do like a whiteboard session explaining like how this feature was created or like our thought process behind this or that. Our more recent videos, we don't do that as often. We don't like do like the whole 4-hour long YouTube video now anyway. So that is definitely something that people on YouTube have asked about a ton. And like every time we've kind of like sneak peek shown that kind of stuff or whatever, people are just like freak out. So.
Now it's there's a question here. It mentions Xbox 360. If there's any thoughts on eventually doing a 360 or a PS3 port. They were surprised to see it was omitted from the stretch goals. Is that anything you guys want to look forward to?
Yeah, so I think it really depends. You know, like when we launch the game, is there still going to be a market for those consoles? If so, then yes,
yeah,
you can definitely. If so, then yeah, you can definitely expect us to support the PS3 and 360. But we didn't want to specifically include that in a stretch goal if a year from now no one's playing indie games on those platforms and everyone's migrated to the PS4 and Xbox One. That's why they've been omitted. But that doesn't mean that we would not do that. It just depends on the market at that point in time, which we can't really predict right now.
Well, that as well. I mean, I know like Watermelon had promised the 360, and not talking bad about the process or anything, but like it was Microsoft that held them up. You know, their whole like process of authorizing you and getting involved with like their development tools for 360 is just like ridiculously archaic and hard for you to put a game on there. It's like we're trying to help you make money, like, and make money ourselves. Like, why is this so difficult? So I mean, even if we promised that, you know, specifically the 360 like that, I mean, that's something that, you know, has taken them about a year or so to finally get all the way through all the bumps in that process too. So,
I mean, honestly, look at the platforms we support. Like, obviously, if there's any way in hell we could support it, we will do it because I love hardware, man. I have a hardware fetish. I would put ES on your fucking toaster if it had a GPU good enough to run it.
I would want to play Elysian Shadows on a toaster. That would be the dopest shit.
Some of the pretty advanced microwaves we've been considering.
I've seen fridges with like Twitter on them. That
Oh
Dude, I know, dude.
This by one day and saw that, and he's like, "Dude, we could put ES on a fridge."
I've already thought about it.
Right.
like if you like cast an ice spell, you get like the ice machine like blowing back at you or something.
Oh my goodness.
You go to fill up your water and you want ice in it, and you're like, "Fuck, I gotta beat this boss."
That's a way to get America to lose weight. Be like, okay, if you want to eat this,
You want to open your
burger. Yeah.
Dude, it's really funny, like, the kinds of fucked up shit, like, we had discussed, like, putting in ES. Like, one of us, I don't remember, sick bastards, were like, dude, let's have this secret boss where on the Dreamcast, you go in this boss room, and, like, when you enter, the door closes, and it formats one of your VMUs, and it's like, bitch, if you want your Shenmue file back, you gotta beat my ass for it.
Or else I'm more decrypt the save file.
And you're like, oh, or like a side quest where it's like, dude, you haven't beat Samba de Amigo on expert mode, fuck off and come back when you're a Baraka master.
Yeah, we can check your save file data, or like how long you've played PSO, and like slip like your main character's name into here, and like things like that for NPCs, like all kinds of crazy stuff people are not going to expect.
You play Shadow more than you play a Sonic? Yeah, you're not beating this game.
Minus 20% defense for this boss.
Brett, I think we should put a cap on streaming questions, just because we're running a bit long now.
Yeah, we're running a bit long.
No more external questions. I'm sorry, guys.
Oh god, my Mac's about to die. Oh shit. Alright, save.
So, like, you've mentioned a few of the games that you guys have played, like Resident Evil, Castlevania, all sorts of stuff, Shenmue, Samba de Amigo, which is a hugely popular thing, it seems like. What are the games that really, and platforms that really shaped you guys as developers and gamers?
Did you guys ever hear of Mega Man Legends? Did you guys ever play that?
I've heard of it.
That was
expensive.
That was one in my childhood that like really stuck with me, and like that's a weird one, I know, but like that actually did have a lot of creative influence on me for ES. Trying to think.
I had like all the old school Castlevanias, like Castlevania Bloodlines and things like that. I had a lot more PlayStation games or Genesis games growing up than anything else, so I got most of my RPG fix from PlayStation. So things like Legends of Dragoon, and of course all the Final Fantasies, like Final Fantasy Tactics, things like that. Like I grew up and really influenced me. I mean, I went out and bought a PSP just for War of the Lions, and then it was an awesome game.
I don't know, Monster Rancher 2 is pretty rad.
Oh yeah, all the Monster Rancher games I have.
Yeah. That was the series where you could like put like a CD in and you would get.
Yeah.
Oh my
God!
god!
I used to go to the library and rent CDs.
Yeah, me and my cousin
That was so bad, and I never could find it around.
and put them in. Yeah.
Like I live in the middle of like bumfuck West Virginia, so they never really had a lot of Monster Hunter games in this area where I live. So it always killed me that I never got to experience that.
No, the ones for the Game Boy Advance and stuff were pretty good too. They let you put in word combinations and things like that instead of scanning discs, obviously.
Yeah, I had Monster Rancher 2 on Game Boy Advance. It was pretty sick.
Oh yeah,
That's cool.
I have to ask, since you guys brought up Final Fantasy a couple times, Phantasy Star or Final Fantasy? Which would you prefer?
Oh my god, dude! I don't know if I can pick. First of all, dude, to this day, like every week or so, I will still hop online on my fucking Dreamcast and play Phantasy Star.
The hacked servers for PSO.
I will still do that, dude.
I want to do that.
At the time, I had it for my GameCube. I bought a broadband adapter for my GameCube, and we used to play on the same hack servers with Falco's Dreamcast, my GameCube, and a friend of ours played Blueburst on his PC, and we were all playing together. It was crazy. Like, still, PSO is one of my biggest influences, but Final Fantasy, I guess it's mostly like the class-based games, like all the Tactics series that stuck with me more than like the main franchise, really. If I had to pick, oh god, I don't even know. I don't think I can even answer that question. I'm so torn.
I own every single of both. Like I own I own Phantasy Star 1 on the Master System, 2 through 4 on the Genesis. I own Phantasy Star Online version 1, version 2 I even bought Phantasy Star Universe, and then I have all the Final Fantasies.
I played on Phantasy Star Online too on the Japanese servers. I got an English client translation pack, and I got hacked everything and got on there.
Oh, Sega's gonna come after your ass.
They started blocking American IPs. I mean, like what? Release in the Western side. I don't know. It was beautiful. I'm really excited for them to release here with that, especially since you can like take it with your Vita. You know, kind of like what we were intending to do with the ES. That'd be cool. I know, Connor, you got an answer for that one?
Damn it, I was just trying not to answer. Damn it, Tyler. Shit. I think the fifth, I guess. Not gonna answer.
That is an answer.
Well, since I'm a Final Fantasy nerd, as people have noticed, I know this isn't a Sega-related question, but I'm curious. What is each of y'all's favorite Final Fantasy games?
Oh, that's a good question. I'm very fucking opinionated about. First of all, I have two. First of all, like Final Fantasy 6 and 9. I love both of them, and I actually did not beat Final Fantasy 9 until last year. I was actually going through a pretty rough time in my life. I was really depressed, basically like hated myself, didn't really have a reason to live, and then I played FF9, and like my depression went away. I was like, dude, this game has the feels. I love FF9, dude. I fucking love that game. FF9 for the 3D Final Fantasy and FF6 for 2D is my final. Shit.
Yeah.
Good shit.
I'd have to say probably Final Fantasy Tactics for I guess 2D-ish. God, I don't know. Final Fantasy 8 was what I played instead of 7. I beat 8 and 9 before I actually ever played 7.
The best one on the PS1, I think.
I would say 8 probably out of those. I like 9 a lot. I really, really did. But I don't know, something about 8 stuck with me a lot harder. So.
I like the remake of, I guess, Final Fantasy 1. I think it was on the PSP. I think I have.
They did that for the DS too. They did the remakes or whatever for both.
Yeah, I had a good time playing those, so I'd pick that.
I like that you mentioned 8. And I like the story that Falco had about 9 because I had a very similar experience with Final Fantasy 8 where I hadn't beat it. I'd had it since like 99 and I hadn't beat it until like 2011, 2012, like right at the beginning of the year because I was in like a funk and I had never beaten the game because I had like saved corruptions and everything.
Oh,
and I was in a funk and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna just sit through this and beat this right fucking now. And
yes,
my depression went away. It was great.
Yes.
It's easy to come out of a depression when you have to hang out with Squall.
Yeah, it makes you feel better about your entire life.
Exactly. and since I have to be a jerk and plug it, I do have to say though that this one right here is. Oh wait, my camera's not working.
Your camera's off.
Yeah,
You're showing your Type 0 again.
Yeah, I'm showing off Final Fantasy Type 0.
As long as it's not FF5, dude. Oh my god.
It's not
the worst.
No, Type 0. I know you guys said that like 13 like kind of killed any interest you guys had in the series, but if you get a chance to play Type 0 either on PSP or on the PS4 when it comes out, do it. It'll restore your faith in the series.
I'll tell you, the newer game I've been playing from Squeenix was actually Bravely Default. It's actually in my 3DS right now. I mean, then that's a heck of a throwback to like the older Final Fantasy games and stuff. And when it finally got released here in the U.S., like that's huge. And I've been playing. I think I've got like 60-some hours logged in that game right now. Like, I've just been chugging away at it. And I mean, I got it kind of late after the release and stuff for it too. I'd been so busy developing, I didn't even realize it had come out. So.
That's one of the biggest reasons I really need to get my hands on a 3DS.
It's worth it.
I've heard so many people, like people who even like Final Fantasy, went in and bought this game and have just been raving about it on like all my timelines and stuff.
I mean, I'm that far in, and I have like half the classes unlocked. I'm like, are you kidding me right now? Like, it's awesome. I really enjoy it. They were really innovative with what they were able to do with it. So I'm excited for the second installment in it.
So like that shows that Square still knows what they're doing. It's just that in a lot of ways they haven't really embraced some of that stuff, like forcing lightning down our throats and stuff like that. That kind of
yeah.
I liked Final Fantasy 13 and 13-2, but I don't like lightning at all. she's just not that great of a character. I was more in it for like the other like side characters, like the Fangs and.
And then she returned.
Why did she have to return? Why couldn't I just play? Why couldn't I just play as Fang in that game? It would have been.
I got like halfway through it, and like there was some part where it was like this like extremely linear, like grindy, like I don't even know. I'm like, I'm done. Like I put down my controller, like, and then I modded my Xbox so that it's JTAG, and I just have all the Rock Band music ever. So
there's no need for Final Fantasy 13 anymore. You've got Rock Band.
No. Let's have 1,600 Rock Band songs instead.
Now, back to Sega here. Do you guys have a favorite Sega game or franchise or console? I assume Dreamcast is probably going to top the console.
Absolutely for me, yeah.
So, I'd say Phantasy Star for me is probably one of the biggest things that they've done that's really impacted me the most and has stuck with me. I really love the Phantasy Star franchise.
Dude, I might even have to say Song of the Day Amigo, man. That game. Dude, that game has gotten me laid before, man. I've like lost weight to that game. Like, dude, that game is.
That and the DDR for the Dreamcast.
Yes.
That is box quote all of that.
Well, we went to the mall the other day when our other artist was still here in town, and they had like this retro game arcade. You could pay like a couple bucks, and they just have all the machines turned on for free play. We walked around the corner, and there was a couple Sega, kiosk things, and then like Falco saw DDR, and he's like, "Oh, it's on." So started playing that. It was pretty cool. It's been a while.
Resident Evil wasn't exclusive to Dreamcast, so I can't say that. I guess maybe Illbleed.
Well, there was Code Veronica.
Illbleed is fucking rad.
Yeah. And plus, they all look like a bunch of Shenmue motherfuckers, so it's kind of like got the crossover.
Oh man, I never played Illbleed. I've seen a lot about it, I've heard a lot about it, but I've never sat down to actually play it. So.
There's actually some songs on it that are like really cool.
Oh shoot!
Here, I got like a written soundtrack.
I own it, and I've never played it.
You own Harvest Moon and Super Nintendo and still haven't played it, and I'm still mad.
And I own 64, and I've never played it.
Oh boy.
I mean, we haven't had time. We're too busy staying up 3 days in a row programming.
I'm trying to make a goddamn game.
Yeah, I'll forgive you. Whatever.
It's on the list for research purposes after the Kickstarter.
Yeah, for me too, because I want to play it again.
All right, and finally, after the Kickstarter and after Elysian Shadows is hopefully funded and everything, what's next for you guys?
Making it, yeah.
I mean, about every really good idea that we've had, people ask us this all the time. I mean, we were like, hey man, it'd be really cool if we could do like this, or if we had like a game that we could do this in, or just these crazy ideas. Like we find a way to incorporate it into Elysian Shadows. So I mean, it is our true first love. And a lot of people are like, we can't believe you guys have been working on this one game for so long, but I mean, it's evolved with us as programmers. The whole project has. So we really haven't looked past it, because anything that we wanted to do in a game, we've been able to do with Elysian Shadows. So really, I guess post-Kickstarter, post-launch, everything like that, there probably would be additional content for Elysian Shadows if we get like the DLC support and everything, including even the Dreamcast through either swap discs or the SD card, or going online with it. So we probably would work on content that way. That's pretty much, I guess, the team answer. I don't know if you guys want to do anything else.
Yeah, no, that's pretty much my answer too.
All right. Well, let's do one more check of the Kickstarter here, because I'm curious to see if we've actually.
How many people did we scare off?
Let's see. We're at 45,405 still, so still pretty good though. Like that's a third of the way through in 3 days. That is amazing to me.
Yeah, if we can keep up the momentum, we will.
Well, this will go live Monday morning for people who want to watch it again and download it. So
sweet.
Right. So let's do some plugs here. You guys have any Twitter accounts, Facebook accounts, anything you want to plug for us?
We have all of the above. Yeah.
You can go to our website, ElysianShadows.com, where you can find us on Twitter, Facebook, Google+, Pinterest, name it.
Pinterest, bitches.
Reddit.
Dude, I'm the only fucker on the team who's like out pinning like ES shit. The other guys are like, oh my god.
We'll get some traffic from it. So,
Yeah,
but,
like my mom.
You can also go, if you go to the website, not only can you find all of the Elysian Shadows pages there, but we also have a Meet the Team section that you can find like our own personal Twitters and Facebook pages and things like that. So if you particularly like what Connor has to say or like what I have to say, you can by all means follow us and see what we're doing on a day-to-day basis. So.
Awesome, awesome. All right, Tom, do you have anything you want to plug?
No. I have an art page, but it's kind of pointless right now.
Your art page is awesome. Go ahead and tell us about it right quick.
No. I'm not. It's not getting updated right now because I have so much other shit going on. It's pointless to talk about. You can follow me on Twitter though at Sega Tomcast, and if you want to play video games with me, I am Neku915 on the PlayStation 3 and Steam, and I will play Persona 4 Arena with you.
Because I never have time to play it with him.
Exactly.
And if you want,
asshole.
We're a loving family here at Sega Addicts.
Yeah.
And if you want to find me, I am Suzaku Rainmaker on Twitter, Tumblr, pretty much anything, Steam. I'm Avenger on PlayStation Network, so if you want to play Persona 4 with me and ignore Tom completely, feel free to do that. And of course, the site itself, Sega-Addicts.com. We are at Sega Addicts on Twitter. We have Tumblr, Facebook, YouTube, of course, all sorts of cool stuff. We got some cool stuff coming down the pipeline on the site, so keep an eye out on that. And if you're just finding us for the first time through Elysian Shadows, thank you for checking us out, and we hope you stick around.
Good.
All right, so I'd say that about does it. So I want to thank you guys for coming on.
Thank you.
For having us.
For Falco, Tyler, and Connor, thank you guys for coming on. It means a lot. Hopefully we didn't scare you guys off too bad.
No, dude, no. We'll totally come back, yeah.
Awesome. Well, we'll definitely have you back anytime.
Sweet.
Build momentum for the end of the Kickstarter for you.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah,
awesome.
I'm sure we'll be back.
Yeah, I'd love to, after the Kickstarter's over, I'd love to have a follow-up and hopefully celebrate the victory of
Absolutely,
content.
yeah, absolutely.
And a special thank you to everyone who watched live and asked questions. You guys are rad.
Yeah, thank you very much. It's our first time really doing a live broadcast like this, so thank you guys for coming out and making this a success. All right, so that about does it for us. This has been Sega Addicts After Hours, a very special Sega Addicts After Hours with the Elysian Shadows team, and we'll see you next week. Bye.
Yeah.
Yeah.